So we are officially in spooky season. It is October. I am so excited about that. But how do you incorporate spooky season into The Sims? My favorite way to do this is to have some spooky season challenges, and that's what we are talking about today. We are going to go over the 10 best challenges for you to play during spooky season if you want to make your Sims game a little bit creepier, scarier, more murdery? I don't know. Whatever you're into, there's definitely a challenge for you. But before we jump into that, if you enjoy this video at any point throughout, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, check out the links to my Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all of the above in the description down below. And if you enjoy this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and let's jump into the 10 best challenges for spooky season. So the first challenge on this list is one of my favorites, and that is the Black Widow challenge. For this one, what you want to do is start with a single Sim. They could be male or female, but most players do start with a female Sim, and have them go in, find someone to love, marry them, move them in, get all of their money into your bank accounts. Then what you're going to want to do is make some other friends, maybe get your eyes on somebody new, invite some people over at a dinner party where you're essentially going to be showing your new husband how great of a wife you are. And at this dinner party, you want to, get to know the next person who you think your Sim might be interested in, Then eventually you want to move that Sim in, keep romancing them, get caught woohooing them, and then kill your original spouse, and repeat this process as many times as you can throughout their life. Essentially, you are marrying people for their money, killing them to marry somebody else for their money. The absolute most beautiful thing in The Sims 4. You can get so rich from this so quickly, especially if you have The Sims 4 seasons and you pay attention to who wins the lottery. This is one of those things that I absolutely love doing in the game. I don't know why, but you can use all sorts of different methods of getting rid of your husbands after. You can use things like extreme violence. You can just make a murder basement. Whatever brings you joy in the spooky season is what you should do for this challenge, and it's honestly one of my favorites in the entire existence of all challenges ever for The Sims 4. The next one is only really possible if you have The Sims 4 paranormal stuff, which if you don't have that pack and you want to really experience spooky season in The Sims 4, you should definitely get your hands on that one. It is just a stuff pack, so it's not super expensive, but what you want to do here is take the regular Legacy Challenge rules, but try to accomplish them in a haunted house. So you're trying to get your Sims to have a good life, raise a family, earn income, and all of that while living in a haunted house. And these haunted houses get a little bit wild, especially if you're not taking care of any of the things that appear. They just get scarier and scarier and spookier, and we all know I can't handle really scary things, so I didn't even like how spooky they got and the noises that were being made. So it can be a lot of fun to have your Sims kind of suffer at night trying to get through dealing with everything and being really terrified but still trying to function the next day at school or at work, trying to make sure that their lives go smoothly while also living in a haunted house, and it definitely brings in those spooky vibes. The next one you can try is the Asylum Challenge, and in this challenge you're going to create 8 Sims but only be allowed to control 1. So you have an 8 Sim household, but you only get to choose what the one person is doing, which means that all the other Sims will have their autonomy just going off doing whatever they feel like doing. However, they're in a house that's an asylum, and there's not enough beds, there are not enough toilets, there's only one kitchen. You have 8 Sims living in a house that's definitely not made for 8 Sims, and you kind of have to work around dealing with all of their interesting decisions. Some of them will sleep in the middle of the day, some of them will sleep at night. You have to try to steal a bed as quickly as you possibly can every single night, which is kind of fun. To be able to leave this asylum, you have to get your Sim to complete an entire aspiration. So being able to finish a whole aspiration in this game can take a little while, especially if your Sims aren't getting enough sleep, they're peeing their pants, people are setting their house on fire, and they have no control. I'll definitely have all of the rules linked for all of these in the description down below if you're interested in playing any of them. It is so fun, and just being able to go in and not touch any of the other Sims makes it really interesting, and at least one of them will probably die in a fire. This next one might not be as spooky, but you can have your Sims live in a cult. You can have a whole group of Sims that just, they're all living in a little cult or a commune, whatever you feel like calling it, where they just live off the land and are living their best lives, but then maybe it goes a little bit Jonestown-y and your Sims end up dying for the cult, and there's a cult leader who's a little bit creepy and who's trying to convince different Sims to join and different Sims to die, and that can honestly be a fun way to play the game. Sometimes I wonder if I'm okay, if any of us are okay. If you're watching this video, are you okay if you do these things with your Sims? But anyway, so it can be really fun to just have your Sims, one specific Sim, be a cult leader. You know, you make them confident, you make them self-assured, you make them outgoing so they love talking to people and they're just chit-chatting it up. And they get that pristine reputation if you have Get Famous, and they end up just talking to different Sims and getting this reputation where Sims just gravitate towards them and are constantly wanting to talk to them, and they get a really high relationship really quickly, and they kill off one Sim and move somebody else in. And it's just like a constant stream of Sims coming in and out, and this can be very fun. And you can end up with like a giant graveyard that's like maybe hidden behind some trees on your lot that like all the Sims don't actually know exists. Spooky. I love it. The next challenge on this list is the Apocalypse Challenge, and for this one, what you want to do is act like the entire world does not exist. Essentially, it's like the entire world has been just completely wiped out by atomic bombs, like just some kind of crazy war type vibe, and your Sim is living in a bunker and are never allowed to leave. They can't go anywhere for any reason at any time or talk to anybody. You could have one Sim or an entire family, that is entirely up to you, and a great lot to do this in if you have The Sims 4 Strangerville is the one that's an airplane. If you have Strangerville, you know what I'm talking about, but if you don't, there is a lot in Strangerville that is like a crashed airplane, and underneath there's like a bunker that a man lives in, so playing with him or adding your family to his household or just moving him out and moving your family in is the perfect lot for this challenge. But you're not allowed to talk to anybody, you're not allowed to go outside because, you know, the entire world is dead. You can't go out there, you'll die. So you'll have your Sims like gaining traits and stuff, and once you build your house, like you probably shouldn't add anything else because there's no way to shop, there's no way to find new things, so you're just kind of trying to survive. Any kids you have, don't go to school. Any adults you have, don't go to work. They just have to live off what they already own, and that's kind of fun and a different way to play the game. Since we don't have werewolves in the game, the closest thing you can get are dogs, and you can do the Wolf Pack Challenge with dogs if you have The Sims 4 cats and dogs. In this challenge, what you want to do is have your Sim, and the rules do say 1 evil raccoon and 6 dogs, but you can make it 7 dogs if you so choose, and kind of make them all look like wolves, werewolf vibes in the game. And what you want to do is live on a lot with no money. It's essentially rags to riches, but you have to take care of all of your animals, live off the land, and not allowed to actually like finish the challenge until you have a home that's worth at least 50k, which is a pretty hefty thing to do if you don't have a regular job or any way to make money immediately. You have to go fishing, you have to go foraging, you have to just send your dogs out to look for stuff. There's a lot of things you can do, but it's definitely interesting to try this one out and live with a bunch of animals instead of people. But your socials can still go up rather quickly if you are living with dogs, because your Sims can just like hang out with them and they're really cute, and it's a lot more fun than talking to people anyway. But you can definitely live with these and get a house worth 50,000 simoleons to finish the challenge and make it feel like there's werewolves. You know, we don't have werewolves in the game, we gotta pretend sometimes. The next challenge on this list is the Serial Killer Challenge, and in this one, what you're gonna do is kill Sims. This is a fun way to play the game. If you don't know, on Twitch currently, I'm playing the 100 Baby Challenge, but we're killing all the baby daddies, so I have a lot of experience killing Sims. I'm kind of a pro. But you can go in, have Sims move into your house and then kill them, or just kill random Sims off the street, make friends with them, have their children if you want, but just end up killing a bunch of Sims. Maybe you stalk some of them, maybe you're trying to steal their money. There's totally different ways that you can go in and go about this. Maybe you like go and meet Nancy Landgrab, you have the klepto trait, you go steal her stuff a couple times, then you're like, now it's time for you to go, Nancy, and then you kill Nancy Landgrab. It's a good time, it's fun, just saying. But being able to kill Sims is one of my favorite things. I don't know why, I've been killing Sims since the dawn of time, essentially. So I'm having a lot of fun with things like killing them and serial killer challenges, and it's a great one for spooky season. Why not make your own serial killer in The Sims 4? The next challenge on this list is a legacy challenge, but with vampires. Having a vampire legacy is really fun because you can get your Sims to go around just like turning random Sims into vampires and seeing how much of the world you can make vampires while also raising your little vampire family. You can have just a bunch of different generations of vampires with the stronger bloodlines, you know, ancient bloodlines happening by the end, because you do start off with like a weak bloodline. If you're like a first level vampire, then your kids will have a weak bloodline, but then like a couple of generations later they'll have an ancient bloodline, and then they're just like fancy vampires. But these Sims are going to have an easier time with everything. They'll have a better time being a vampire, and you can just turn the whole world into vampires. Why not? It's a good time. Vlad would love you if the whole world was vampires, except he wouldn't have anybody to eat. So maybe he wouldn't love you. Maybe you would need to kill Vlad. You need to find a way. But you can definitely play a whole legacy challenge with vampires or spellcasters if you'd rather do that. But having a whole family where they're all vampires is super fun, and I know a lot of people go with like regular, like vanilla, regular Sims instead of occults, and I just think that sometimes throwing in a vampire legacy can change up the game and change up the way you play, and it's super duper fun. Now, speaking of replacing the entire world with vampires, the next challenge is the Alien Takeover Challenge, and in this one you are going to be an alien, and what you're going to want to do is you are going to get Sims off the street, you are going to get them pregnant with your alien baby, wait until they give birth to this baby, and then let them starve to death, and then raise this child until they are a young adult, send them off out into the world, and allow them to replace the population. So you're gonna end up replacing the entire world with all of your little alien babies and just have like a whole world of little blue and green guys walking around instead of all of the regular Sims you're used to. So you can get like Nancy Landgrab pregnant and have a little Landgrab alien baby. They're probably aliens anyway, so it all works. But replacing the entire world with aliens is a really fun way to play The Sims 4, or spellcasters, or vampires. Doing this with any of those is quite fun, and just having the whole world no longer be regular Sims can spice up the game. This last one is the Haunted Hotel Challenge, and since we don't actually have the ability to run hotels in The Sims 4 as of now, I don't know anything. I'm just saying as of now because I hope that we get them. But you can change the rules for this and just act like it's a hotel. And what you want to do is make sure that it is a haunted house if you have the Sims 4 paranormal stuff. So what you do for this one is you lock random Sims inside of your home like they're staying in a hotel, but you can't let them leave. They can't leave. So it's a little bit like, it's not like a traditional hotel where you go and stay for fun. It's like a hotel where you don't get to leave and you stay there forever. Why not? You know, whatever. It's fine. So what you're going to do is like bring in the Landgrabs. Have them come into your home, they stay in a hotel, and then every day you're going to randomize things to have different events happen and have different things happen in the hotel, and you're just trying to keep your Sims happy in different ways. The kind of events that might happen is like making friends with somebody, woohooing with them, making enemies with them, or even killing them, getting rid of these Sims. And if you're living in a haunted house, it can add even more chaos to the game and just make it a little bit quirkier. Honestly, the haunted house stuff from Paranormal Stuff is some of my favorite in the game. I think it's so fun and so terrifying. I'm a weenie, we all know that. But having a haunted hotel can definitely change the way that you see The Sims and play different ways, and I like that a lot. But as I said, I will have all of the rules for all of these challenges linked in the description down below. Let me know in the comments if you have any other challenges that you like to play in spooky season or any other ones that are a little much, that some people might not like because they're too scary. It's fun to talk about scary challenges and like spooky things and weird ones that just feel very October, very spooky season. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I really hope that you will go find the link in the description and follow me on Twitch. We have a lot of fun killing baby daddies over there Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I really hope that you are having an amazing day, you have an amazing rest of October, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.